welcome to Boldcast, the very first episode. And as promised, we decided to go live for the very first episode. Launching bold conversations, unfiltered, as raw as possible, and of course, addressing a lot of things.
Unscripted too. Of course, you can see he's the professional and I'm the nervous one here, but yeah, unscripted, like really unscripted.
And for those that don't know, this is actually my older sister. We are siblings, and we'll be talking about a lot of things. And as you can see in the caption, this episode is dubbed "Let's Talk About Dad." All right,
which is a very, very sensitive topic, I guess, because it deals with something that most African families don't want to address, don't want to talk about. We're talking about sexual abuse in the family, something that happened to me, something that I brought out, and basically opened the Pandora's box in the family and around me. So we decided, okay, let's try to talk about this as siblings, because all the time it's family this, family that, this one said that, and we've never really sat down and spoken about how it affected both of us. I thought it was just about me, but well, it robbed a lot of people when I spoke about it.
All right. Now, about 10 years ago, I think, close to 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That was when
You remember?
I do. I remember vividly. That was when I found out about everything that happened. Well, before that, I was blank about everything, and because of how I was constantly told to be like, dad. Even the way I walked, walk straight.
And the
like
way you
dad.
look.
Yeah, you look like that. So I think I unconsciously praised him, worshipped him, and that image of him got distorted.
Like it shattered?
Yeah.
I shattered it, I'm sorry.
But 10 years ago is when you decided to tell me about it. It wasn't even a good way that you actually...
I don't even remember. You see, this is the thing about trauma and all these things that you keep locked up inside. I don't remember how I told you. I do remember how I decided or why I decided to speak up, but I don't remember how I told you. I do remember how I told a cousin of ours, actually some cousins of ours. I remember how I told like 3 of them, but I don't remember how I told them.
Let me remind you, it was, Mom was there, it was in Komboka. I think I was saying something in my worship of that. I said something nice and...
Sorry, did I just roll my eyes? Sorry.
I was saying something nice and you're on the phone, landing on that wooden chair. Remember the one Mom used to sit on? Yeah, you're on your phone, and then you just said, he's not the man you think he was. And yeah, so you just broke the news just like that, I remember Mom trying to shush you, and like, not now, but you had already said it.
Okay, yeah. Because by then I was full of rage. So this is the thing, for people, well, people know me for different things really on social media and in real life. But so for people that don't know what we're talking about, the thing is, I spoke out about sexual abuse in the family. I spoke about how I was molested, and this didn't sit well with most family members because, like he said, there are a lot of conflicting things here. This was a person that was my dad and 2 of his friends, and then this was a person who took great care of us. He's a person that took great care of the family. He was the breadwinner. He was this person that we worshipped, that we were raised to worship, really. It's conflicting. He was a good man, and then he was this. So basically what I did was just put down this image that everyone wanted us to maintain. But for me, it wasn't I needed attention or I was seeking attention, because like I said, when I told it to him, I was really, really angry. I had been going through relationships with people, and it was a joke amongst us that I couldn't last more than 3 months in a relationship or something. But the thing was, every time I noticed any partner of mine cheating, I would be taken back to my childhood. Trauma should be dealt with when I always say therapy and counseling, these are things that I really take seriously, because I went through life not dealing with what had happened to me. I went through life looking at my family, blaming them for some stuff, because after I started speaking out, most of the questions I've gotten are, where was your mom? Where was who? And it's funny, because we lived in a house that was always full of people, like always full of people. These things didn't necessarily always happen in the house, but we lived in a place that always had a lot of people. So how come these things were happening and people pretended not to know? And after I spoke about it, then this one said, oh, this happened to me. This one, another person said, this happened to me. And I sat and thought, okay, so this stuff was happening, and why didn't people talk about it? Then I got responses from within the family like, you're really fixated about this, forget about it. Or the man is dead, why do you even care? You know, and I'm thinking, look, I'm the one who's living with this trauma. If you're able to go through life and, you know, just sweep things up under the carpet, I can't, because now I'm going from relationship to relationship, trying to fill in this void that wasn't even brought about by these people. They'll just do one little thing and they trigger me, and then, so it all came crashing down when I was in a relationship, and then I found out that this person was cheating on me. Oh, and that was one dramatic breakup. Like, I burnt their clothes, I did a whole lot of things, and I just had a mental breakdown, and the person couldn't understand, because for them it was nothing really serious. But I was having a breakdown where I have all these memories, like they come cascading, and there were memories that I had blocked for the longest time. And this is, I'm in my 20s, like, this is happening to me, and I just said, okay, now this needs to be addressed. So now I started talking about it. Maybe I didn't go about it in the right way, but I don't know if there's ever a right way to doing this.
I think it's subjective, though. It depends on the person.
Yeah, so I started talking about it, and then now I get people telling me you're lying, people who don't want to believe. I get people telling me I should move past it because they know it happened. And I have people who are telling me I'm just fixated. Yes, I'm fixated because this is a memory I had blocked, and now it's finally here. So what do I do about it? I want to talk to family about it. Like, let's find a way in which, you know, what happens now. So anyway, moving past that, obviously I was angry. You were talking about him in your worshipy way. And the conflicting thing is, I always say this, I have never gotten to a part where I hate him. I don't hate him. Maybe because I was young and I don't know what that was about, but it's really conflicting, and it's not even Stockholm Syndrome. I don't hate him. I hate what he did to me. I hate what he allowed to happen to me. I hate the fact that I really, really was robbed of a childhood. So, and I always say, sometimes when you see me acting like a child, leave me alone. Like, I'm trying to bring out my inner child, you know. So I really hate that. And I do understand that it's sensitive, and people would have preferred that it stay in the closet, but well, only clothes were meant to stay in the closet. If there's a story out there, there's a skeleton, let's take it out, let's address it. If you feel it's not right that I should bring it to social media, well, there are lots and lots of girls, women, children, even boy children, going through the exact thing in a different situation, different scenario, but going through abuse. If we talk about it, maybe they'll have, you know, the courage to talk about their story. And times have changed, really. People are going to court for these things. People are being jailed for these things. People are seeking justice. It's not the old times when we would say, oh, it happens in the families. Yes, men in families do that. And no, it's not okay. Some of us have female children. I don't want my kids growing up and me having a brother, and I should be so scared to leave my kids with you. Like, I share this bond with you as my brother, and then I should be scared because of stuff that happened to me as a child, because what, would men in the family do that? So,
all right. Now, you know, you and I have spoken about this on different platforms. I've spoken about it from my angle. You've spoken about it on a lot of platforms. And some of the questions that have arisen from different people and audiences are questions like, why do you think he did this?
I'm not sure. Like I said earlier, I was a child, so I really don't know. For the most part, well, from what I've seen about sexual abuse, for the most part, people, should I say, don't know that this is sexual abuse. But if the victim, a child, can feel that something is wrong, because the child won't know I'm being sexually abused, but you will feel that this thing that this person is doing to me is wrong. And then because the person that's doing that to you is an adult, you start thinking, okay, maybe they are right, I'm wrong. And I think that's why kids go off feeling very shameful about what has happened to them instead of the perpetrator. So the victim will carry the shame for you, who is the adult, who knows that what you're doing is wrong. So I really don't know. Like I said, I don't know if people don't know how serious sexual abuse is, because sexual abuse is in many ways, really. It's on many levels. Even things that used to happen to us girls who grew up back then, like you're walking in town, going to get a bus. This caponia comes and grabs your boob. You're sexually harassing me. You know, I've told how one of our gardeners, once I wanted to ride his bike, and then he says, let me touch your boob first. I was 13, and why? Like, why? So I don't know if men don't know that it's serious and it carries huge consequences on the mental health of a child that they're doing that on. I don't know. I really don't know. Or maybe it was allowed and they thought they could get away. I don't know. Some people have told me that maybe it was charms. I don't know. I'm not spiritual. I'm not religious. So I don't know. Some people have told me maybe, he was initiating you into something. I don't know. Into what? Where's the millions? So I really don't know. Or maybe it was just the way of life back then. Still happening.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, you were young. How old were you when this happened?
Oh, well, I can remember from the time I was 7, 8, 9. Oh, well, then he died.
Early on, you said you were angry, and that's understandable. That's something that would happen if something like this happened to a child. And where are you right now, emotionally, mentally? Where are you? Would you say, is it safe to say you're past this? You've healed from this? Where are you?
Well, if you had seen me on the other platforms when I just started talking about it, sometimes I would cry because memories would come back, and sometimes I would maybe show an angry face. I remember once being interviewed, somebody told me that I looked detached. So I told them back then it was my way of telling the story. It was just automatic, like, let me just talk about it. After therapy, after a great support group from friends and whatever, I think right now I'm at peace. I'm at a place where even if somebody came at me and said, oh, you just want attention, I know where I'm at. I know why I'm doing this. So yeah, I'm at a place where I don't have as many questions at night as I did then, because I was angry because I had so many questions, I had so many people to blame. But right now it's, okay, it happened, still happening in some families, what can we do about it? I'm not a product of that. I actually have people who have tried to use that to hurt me. And I'm like, okay, look, I was a child, he was an adult. How am I going to grow up now and you know my story and you think you can use that to hurt me? Like, who sounds foolish here? You. So anyway, I'm at a place where it happened. It still happens. It's wrong. Can we try to stop it? Can we try to speak out more? Can we try to put these perpetrators behind bars? Can we try to get therapy for the kids that go through this? Can we just realize that abuse is really, really serious? Sexual abuse is really serious. It carries a lifelong bag of consequences on the mental health. Like, it's got a huge impact on the mental health of a person, boy, girl, woman, child. Yeah.
I think I've had my fair share of dealing with this too, and 10 years ago.
With what? With
dealing
this
with,
story,
with the fact, dealing with the fact that my father abused our father abused his own daughter, and at some point I think I had a lot of questions as well. Is it just daughter or daughters here? Did it just happen to one, or did it happen to others? But you're the one that came out, and there were a lot of talks of he was a good man. It's not possible that can happen, but it is possible for someone to be good to others and be different towards his.
That's when I say when this men are trash slogan is going on. I would be like, no, my brother is not trash, you know, because I love you and you're my brother. But then I realized that, look, I can love you with all my heart as a man, good father, good uncle, whatever. But I don't know what other people have experienced from you, you know. So I don't know. So, and I agree, he was a good man, like they say. But he was also that. So why don't you want to just sync the two? Every person has a good and evil side.
Took me a lot of time to come to that place where I finally accepted, and because I think over the years I had a lot of questions and I was angry towards a dead person. It's one thing to be angry towards someone. No, I don't. Not yet. It's one thing to be angry towards someone who's alive, but a dead person, that's a whole different story. There's no closure whatsoever. So I think I channeled that anger towards
other people,
mom especially, because the one question at the top of my head is, where was she? You know, that's the one question. I think I've approached her. I've asked her this question so many times, and then when I was dealing with this, I've asked her so many questions. Where were you when all this was happening? How did you allow that to happen? You know, and it took me a long time to realize I'm channeling my anger towards the wrong person here. The only people that need to deal with this is, one is dead and the other one is me. And since I'm the only one that's here, I'm the one that needs to deal with this. So I asked a lot of questions. I've dealt with this over the years, and the recent past, someone else came out and said, okay, look, it also happened to me. That's their story to tell. I'm not going to come out about that. That's their own story to tell. Whenever they're ready, they'll talk about it. But someone else who lived with us in that house, someone else who's close to us, someone that we love, also came out and said, it also happened to me. He did this. He came to my room, at night, and he did that and did this. And when I heard that last year, it didn't hit me as hard as it hit me 10 years ago, because I had already dealt with it. I had
Was it last year or the other year?
It must be last year or the other year. Maybe the other year. The other year, yes. It didn't hit me as hard as it did 10 years ago, because I had come to a point of acceptance. I accepted that, people do bad things, and we can't go on pretending that they didn't do that thing. We can't go on acting like the person was a saint, And I accepted that it's something that he needed to deal with, and he's not alive. He's not here to deal with it.
And there's a thing that people say, no, but the person is dead. You can't talk bad about the dead. And for me, I think, like you said, 10 years ago when I started speaking about it, the person you mentioned, the person you talk about, is one of the people I spoke to first. And they actually said, you know what? I'm glad you've actually said this. You've said it out, because this stuff happened to me. And we had a whole conversation, and I was really relieved that, I know it's bad that I was relieved that somebody else had gone through such an ordeal. Theirs was probably worse than mine, but I was relieved that, okay, look, here's somebody who's going to believe me. Here's somebody who's going through this thing. At least there's someone who's going to believe me. I'm not making this stuff up, I'm not being fixated on one particular incident. There's someone else who believes me. And when we spoke, and then spoke to other people, and then there were other stories, and like you, I was really, really angry at my mom, our mom. Like, for the longest time, I was really, really angry at her. Like, okay, look, this person was your husband, in as much as he was my dad. He was your husband, so where were you? And I came to a point, I think last year, where I just totally let go of whatever anger I had towards her. I said, you know what? If she didn't know, she didn't know. I'm not going to blame her for the sins of somebody else. She didn't know. She says she didn't know. She didn't know. So, stuff came out. There's stuff she didn't know. I'm not going to crucify her for it, you know. In as much as he was her husband, he was my dad. He was his own person. So he's dead, stuff happened. I'm sure she's also gone through the hurt of hearing this stuff happen under your nose and you didn't know. And well, I'll forgive her because that house was ever full of people. She had her eye on so many people. So, well, yeah.
What impact, mental impact, did this have on you growing up?
Distrust mostly. That's the first thing. Distrust. Until very recently, still, I'm quite distrustful of gifts, of people being nice to me. Like, what do you want? How do you want me to pay? If I get this from you, what will you expect from me?
What's in it for you?
Yes, because one of the men was he owned like a garage. He had, you know, had a workshop for cars or something. Very quiet man, that one. So he would buy me shoes. He would buy me presents. So the thing was, for me, it was okay. People give you presents in exchange for bad things, you know. So that was first distrust and cynicism. I was quite cynical, like lies, you know. And then it also came down to what are these issues you people talk about in relationships? Trust issues. Like it became very difficult for me to trust because I've grown up in a home where I couldn't trust my own father, you know. So how am I going to trust you in a relationship with me? And then also anger issues because I was very angry at the world. Like the world had nothing to do with what had happened to me, but I was just angry at the world. On the good side, though, it brought out, and I still have this thing where if you're smaller, your voice is small, like you're smaller in stature. There are people that I like to protect. Like if I see you and I think, okay, bullies will target you or something, I'm going to protect you. I like protecting little people.
You grew up protecting me. So.
Yes, I like protecting people from the big bad world. Even when you want to go out there and venture and see the big bad, I will want to protect you. I think that's a good thing that came out of it. The bad was, I don't know if this is still distrust, where I couldn't let my kids go for holidays. Like I was always scared something would happen to them. I don't know who's going to molest them, what's going to happen to them. Like I was very, very fearful of that. So I guess they missed out on holidays. They've always been around me or mom. That's like that's those are the people that I trust. My mom or myself. Like I had this irrational fear that stuff would happen to my kids. Yeah.
All right. Boldcast is what it is, and we are doing this every single weekend at 10 a.m. All right. So we have a lot of topics, but today, just in case you're joining us, we're talking about dad. Exactly that. Let's talk about dad is what is called, and talking about sexual abuse in the family and how we've dealt with it.
So can I throw it at you? So how have you dealt?
Well, it's been a rough ride, I think. The one thing that it birthed that was bigger than every other thing, I think, was something you've mentioned too: anger issues. Being angry at a person whom you can't get closure from meant just channeling that anger towards different people, a lot of people. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend I've been good in most of my relationships. You've witnessed some of the relationships I've been in where I was abusive and I was angry.
And for me it was, look, you grew up around women who didn't fight. Like, why are you being abusive?
So I channeled that anger towards different people who had nothing to do with where the anger was coming from, innocent people, and mom and people I dated who were probably wondering, why is this person so angry at me?
Who hurt you?
And I had a lot of anger issues, a lot. I can safely say it's only in the past maybe 3 years that I felt okay. I'm at peace now. And I think I was unfair when I dated those people before coming to a place where I've dealt with it. But I didn't even know what I was dealing with. You know, I didn't even know that that's what was happening. That's most times you only know what was happening after it happens. You know, after you get out of it, that's when you realize, oh, that's what I was going through. And I think that's what has happened to me, with me. And how did I deal with it? I didn't most of the time.
You didn't pray?
I prayed a lot. I remember meeting Faith at Christian Voice. She was with the marketing department, and she was on her way out. She had just she was leaving CV. She's now with Mother of Millions, Faith Kalonge, and she noticed those other issues, and she pulled me into a studio, saying, "What's going on? What's happening?" And we talked about it. She prayed with me through it, through all of it, and she helped me out a great deal. And I love that she didn't only approach this from a spiritual angle only, but also from a human angle. She addressed me as both a Christian and a human being, you know, and she was real about this. You know, she acknowledged the pain, she acknowledged the hurt, she acknowledged the anger, and she helped me out a great deal. And I think that was the beginning of me healing from all of this. I was angry. I don't need to tell you.
No, I know. You walked about angry, like you were a juggernaut waiting to just hit into something like, okay.
I remember one time when I was trying to hit this person, and you and Rhoda and Mom were trying to stop me, and I think I pushed all of you down. That anger there, that day, I've told a lot of people, that is the day I realized my anger is going to hurt the people that I love.
That's what anger does. That's what my anger did. Like, I would push people away because of my anger. And then, lucky you had your faith who came and spoke to you from a Christian. What I realized during my Christian journey is people didn't have the answers that I sought. So I would ask why, and it would be, this happens for a reason. God gives everyone the freedom of choice. So I'm like, okay, look, and I'll get angry. I'm a child, an innocent child. No one is born innocent. What is that you say? That, anyway, something that Romans says. So all have sinned, yes, for all have sinned and fallen. So I'm saying, look, I'm an innocent child who doesn't deserve this. So why is this happening to me? Mm-hmm. And they would blame the adults. They would be like, no, they were given freedom of choice. Okay, so what about the child here? What are we going to say about the child? Because the child is the one that's going to live with this trauma. And they didn't have the answers. So I never found, and to this day, I have never found anyone who's given me an answer that I would be like, okay, now this makes sense. So now I had to go the human way, like you say, the empath way. I had to think, okay, this is messing me up. Mm-hmm. My anger is messing me up. What's wrong? Like, what's going on? And then when I started therapy, that's when I realized, oh, okay, cool. So I'm dealing with this anger from way back, 30 years ago. I still carry this anger around, and I'm angry at everybody. I'm angry at the world. I'm angry at my friends. I'm angry at my kids. I'm just angry. I'm an angry person. And why are you angry? Like how my kids would go because now it's like, what's wrong? Like, are you broke? Like, why are you angry? Because they don't understand the anger. Usually I'm just, and they wouldn't understand why I would be so angry. Sometimes I'll blame it on my OCD, which wasn't it. After I started therapy, and when I realized, okay, no, this anger has its own roots, you know. Mm-hmm. And now here I go about walking peacefully. My friends are forever saying you're at peace, and I go like, yes, and I'm not going to disturb this peace for anything. Like that, no. Like right now, my mantra is peace above all else. You come at me with guns blazing, I would rather just delete you from my life and just continue on my path of peace. Like, I do not want anyone to mess up with. You don't know what I've dealt with the past 30 years, so you're not going to come and mess up my peace today. It's taken a lot. It's taken a lot, emotional, financially, even just physically. It's taken a lot for me to get to this place, you know, where I can sit here and look at you, and I actually appreciate that you look like that. Because then I used to get upset when people, you look so can just shut it. So, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's you need a hanky?
Oh, no, I have my hanky. I have two. I have one over there.
But
okay, you go.
it's you've mentioned how it affected you financially, emotionally. Did it distort the meaning of love and how you saw love?
Most of my growing up, I didn't believe in love. I didn't believe love existed.
Was that the reason?
Yes, for me it was love is a lie, because the people that love us end up hurting us, you know? So there's no such thing as love. And I went through life, like I said, I had a very deep void that I tried to fill in. We'll talk about that when we're doing coping mechanisms. Yeah. So I went through life just not believing in such a thing as love. People would tell me they love them, I'd be like, lies. It took a lot of me to actually tell someone who wasn't my child that I love them. I knew I loved you. I knew I loved my kids. I knew I loved some of my friends. But someone dating me comes along and says, I love you. Lies.
All right.
Yeah.
And this is the topic we're going to have one of these weekends. You know, you were married before. How did you manage to stay there if this affected how you saw love and how you saw men in general?
Correction, I wasn't married. I was married off. Married off. I didn't do it voluntarily. I was married off. That's something I like to say, and that's the truth. So I think that also affected my stay there, because for most of the part, I don't believe in love. I don't believe this is love. We just got here because we're all look. So what am I doing here? I want to get out of this, you know. So it affected a whole lot of, you know, the dynamics that took place there. I didn't believe that he loved me. I don't believe there was. Well, we were just living together. For me, and for the most part, that's what I think. I think we were just living together.
Do you think that, don't you?
Well, apparently I was his favorite, so...
I've been told you were his favorite.
Yeah, I think he loved me. I don't know. I think he loved me, but that gave me a warped concept of what love is. Because if you love me and I'm your favorite, and then is this love? Is this what love is supposed to be? So I think I grew up with a warped concept. But, well, luckily, years later now, I really do believe in love. I love love. Like, I'll cheer on love. I'll cheer on love. And maybe now people can understand why I'm so pro-monogamy. Because for me it was, okay, I'm growing up and isn't this person supposed to be with one person? What are all these things happening in the background? Like, what's this? And that birthed in me the fight to, okay, if I find one person and I feel I love them and they love me, I'm going to stick to them, you know? But if I find any traces of cheating, what I got out from that was triggers that I would carry into relationships. Like, don't cheat on me. Don't cheat on me with people that I know. I would give people that I date this ceremony. Cheat with people that I don't know, who don't know me.
Don't cheat at all.
Exactly. But for me, it'd be like, I just cheat with people I don't know, you know. And then it was also, you're making me a fool. Because what I realized was, after I spoke about it and people started talking about, oh, this also happened, and then this also happened, and then for me, the most important person in that house, my mom, didn't know this stuff was happening. I was like, okay, so people knew and they were just looking at her. And I don't ever want to feel that. Like, I don't want to be the one that does not know. Tell it to my face. It also bred, on the positive side, it bred this need for honesty. Like, tell me the truth. Even if it's bad, tell me the truth. Let me handle it my own way. Just don't let me hear things from other people, because now I'm going to blow up. And that's when I had anger issues. But not, right now, it's okay if I hear it from other people. I have learned that people's dishonesty is on them. The other good thing that it birthed was, I think, my passion now for women girls, boys, because I know even boy children are being molested and abused in these homes. So it brought about this passion where I just feel I need to help. I need to help. And sometimes I don't even know how to help, but I really, really want to help. So, yeah.
All right. All right. This is Boldcast, and we're live on Facebook. All right. You can share the page, share this video, and we'll be doing this every single Saturday. We have about 5 minutes to go.
Okay.
And
you haven't spoken much.
I haven't spoken much. All right.
Okay, I'll ask you, what's the good thing that has come out of this?
The good thing
the bad part, which was anger.
The good thing that has come out of the dad drama and me dealing with knowing that our father, sexually abused one of his own daughters or more. I think for many that know me, they know how close I am with my own daughter, how I'm very protective, and just like you, it's something that might not come out of a really good place, but it's something I think I need to do. I don't trust a lot of people concerning my child. I think she's safe with me. I'm coming from a place where my own father abuses his own. So I'm thinking, what can other people who are not even related to her do to her? It's made me be too concerned over my child, and also it's made me to be open with my nieces, your children. I'm sure the older ones can even tell you. I have opens. I don't want to address them like I'm a father of some sort. I want to be their friend. I want to be someone they'll run to when something funny is.
Like, I've seen conversations with you and them, and I'm like, oh, okay, so they went and spoke to him about this, and they didn't speak to me, and I feel a bit touched. But also, it's really nice that they have you who they can trust like that, like a male figure. When it comes to you being concerned with your daughter, the bad side to that is I was like that too. I remember an incident where Selena was a baby, and then her dad he took her to bath, so he went to give her a bath, and then in the midst of it, he got wet because they were splashing and whatever, and then he decided to get into the bath with her, and then I walked into the bathroom and I was petrified. I was like, what is going on? And then he was shocked, like, she's my daughter, what's up? Like no, you can't do that. And I was really angry, and I was throwing a whole hissy fit, and he couldn't understand because he didn't come from that background. That wasn't the abuse that he knew. And so he was really, really shocked. And he said, no, but this is me, this is my daughter, I love her with all my heart. Whatever you carry, whatever baggage you carry, like, don't bring it here, I can't do that to your to my own daughter. So when it comes to you being protective, it's good, but also it becomes bad because now you're worrying about things that might not even happen. Of course, we have to walk around thinking they might, but they might not happen.
All right.
Yeah.
And
I can't remember what else I wanted to say while you were talking. But go on.
Yeah. One of the good things that this has brought out is it helped me heal and pull out of the very anger it caused. I don't know if that makes sense, but the very anger that was born out of all of this, I managed to pull out of it, not only by prayer and not only by my God and God's help, but also me deciding, I think I have an example of who I don't want to be like.
Now I remember. So that's what I have also taken away from everything. Like, I'm trying to be a mom to the kids, an aunt to the nieces, and the nephews that I didn't get as a child. I want to protect my kids. I want to give them the protection that I felt I didn't get. I want to be the friend they can run to when stuff like that happens, or even threatens to happen. I need to know that this is what's happening. And I like it because way back when we lived in Komboka and the kids were at Twatasha, when Selena was in, I think, grade 7, I actually saw a memory on Facebook. I had posted about it. She came home and she told me about a friend of hers who lived in a 2-roomed house with her aunt and her uncle. So her mom had died. She used to live with her grandma. Her grandma died. So now she started living with this aunt who had a husband. So this husband would get up from the other room. This is during the night. And then would fake going to the loo. Because, you know, it was a pit latrine outside. So he would fake going to the loo. But he would... Because the child used to sleep in the sitting room, the other room, anyway. So then now he goes there and tries touching her, you know. And this might... I think by then Selena was, 11 or something. And then she came home and she was distressed and she told me about it. And I remember getting very distressed because I knew how life in the hood is. Like, okay, so now what am I going to do for this child? This is her last relative that's willing to take care of her. And now she goes into this place and it's a den where you find this lion looking at a 12-year-old child waiting to chow it. Like, okay, so now what do I do? And I would get very, very distressed because then I didn't know who to go to, how to help the child, what to do. Will the child speak up? Will be the other relatives? And that's the problem. Usually you find that relatives don't want to take in a child like this because they say, well, Naina Alangona with a chupo. You know, she's going to come into this
and
house.
That's the thing.
Yes, Alangona with a chupo, or she'll tell lies about my husband. That people are so bent on protecting whatever their relationship is with their partners, spouses, whatever, than taking care of a child in distress. You know? Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I think I have the same. It showed me what I don't want to be like, and knowing what you don't want to be like automatically shows you what you should be like. So I decided I don't want to be like that.
Yeah, you can buy us the presents. Presents will always be welcome. But when you say it showed you and we went through all this anger then came out of it, I think that's the victory at the end, me using Christian words. That's the victory at the end. That you have to go through all this and then come out and know who you are, what you want, what you don't want for your family, for your kids, and for society in general. Like just anyone vulnerable out there, you know? Yeah, I think that was the victory. And I think that's where I'm at too. I'm glad I'm at a place where my daughters can come and tell me what's going on. Some need a little bit of persuading, but eventually I get the story.
Right.
Yeah.
Someone's watching right now, someone might be watching, someone will watch this video sometime, and maybe they're going through, a similar thing.
Are you doing that?
They've gone through, yes. They've gone through it, they don't know who to talk to. How can they reach you?
On Facebook, I'm Theo Malambo Mwanga. There's a number on the Boldcast page, which is our number. That's on my personal number. So you can inbox me on Twitter. On Twitter, I'm Theo That Atheist. Instagram, Theo Mwanga. So you can inbox me anytime. Apparently, I'm a very good listener and I give good advice. So I've heard. But the thing is, for the longest time, my inbox has always had messages about this pouring in. And it's not just children abused by relatives or other people. It's stories of rape, it's stories of defilement, it's stories of molestation, and even just stories of physical abuse. Like I have married women coming to tell me about how they're abused. I have people in relationships, and when I say it's birthed in me a passion to try to protect people, like that's what I try to do. Like I want to protect people. I want people to get out of these situations because at the end of the day, I have learned one thing: if you're in a very abusive, toxic environment, you get away two things. It's either you become better, or it actually has the power to turn you into what you don't want. Like Nick said, he became angry. He wasn't even in that situation. I don't even know why he was still in my situation. He became angry. I also became very angry. At some point, I've been abusive, and I became the thing that I didn't want to be. I became the thing that abused me, and not sexually abusive, please. And then after that, I realized, look, this has the power, it has the potency to turn me into something that I am not. That if you went to my kids and said, this is your mom, they'd be like, really, So you need to get out of that. If you know a family member, if you know anyone in society who's going through these things, let's try. What I really want to try is, how can we, especially the kids that don't have anywhere to go, how do we help them? Are there shelters? Are we removing them from this abuse to this kind of abuse? Like, what's going to happen? Maybe the world is toxic, but then there's good in the world.
There is good in the world. All right, and well,
your eyes look like you need a hanky.
No, I just need some coffee. Maybe we need to go and have some coffee now.
Okay.
All right.
So this has been Boldcast, the first episode. Like I said, or we said, this is episode 1 out of 13. Yeah, Pandora's box is being opened up in here.
Well, we have a couple of topics, a lot of topics, and to find out what we'll be talking about next weekend, keep your eyes glued to this very page, Boldcast. Invite your friends and share the page, share this video, right? It's Boldcast. Let's talk about it.